Dear students, now let us start with the core making. Core making. So it is a part of mold and core making. We have seen the mold making. Now we will see the core making. So basically what is core and why it is used in the casting? Okay, so whenever you want to produce any hollow portion into the casting, we are using this core. So for producing hollow shapes or portion in the casting, we are using the cores. Okay, so see, suppose this is our casting and I have to produce this hollow part. Okay, so to produce this hollow portion into this casting, we are using the cores. So let us see some properties of the core first. See, once the hollow portion is made, what we are doing here, we are going to break the core and take it out, so you will get the hollow portion into the casting. So for that reason, very first important property for the core material, as the core material should not be the metal. Number one, the core should not be made up of metal. The core should not be made up of the metal. What will happen metal? It will be the integral part of the casting if you use the metal. So it is always, basically the core is used or made with the dry sand with the CO2 molding. Okay, that we will see how it is made. But the first property for the core material, that it should not be the metal. Then which material? The dry sand is basically used for the making of the cores. We can use the green sand also for the making of the core, but we have to bake the core properly into the dielectric baking machine or furnace. Then we can get the exact properties required for the core. So the next property is that there should not be any moisture content in the core. No moisture content. Should be present into the core material. If the moisture is there, when the molten material is poured, the gases will develop, and when it is trapped in the molten material, the gases defects get generated into the casting and the casting is useless. So second important thing is that there should not be any moisture content present into the core material. Third thing is that it should have sufficient strength. The core material should have sufficient strength. What happened? See, this is our mold cavity, suppose, and to produce that hollow portion, we are keeping here our core and we are adding the molten material, isn't it? So because of this molten metal, there are chances of having the action or acting of the buoyancy forces onto this core. So core should easily withstand these buoyancy forces which are given by this molten material, and that is the reason why the core material should have the sufficient strength to withstand these all buoyancy forces given by the molten metal. And the last very important property for this core material, as it should have the good collapsibility. As this core, after doing the casting process, we are going to break this core so that within this casting it should be get easily broken so that you will get the hollow portion without damaging the rest part of the casting. That's why the core material or core should have very good collapsibility also. Means in totality there are 3 to 4 characteristics that the core should have. That is, number 1, the core should not be the material. Second, the core should not contain any kind of moisture content. Third one, it should have sufficient strength to withstand with the buoyancy forces. And the fourth one, it should be easily break, or it should have a very good collapsibility property. Now if we see how these cores are made, it is basically made with the dry sand with the CO2 molding. So here see, this is a core box. We are filling here the dry sand, and this is our core box. Based upon the sizes, we are having the various size of the core boxes, and in that we are going to provide the carbon dioxide for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, when this in the dry sand we pass the carbon dioxide for 2 to 3 minutes, we are getting the colloidal solution, or this is also called it as the silica gel, which is going to give the required strength for this particular core. Now see, if you take the dry sand, as you can say, this sodium silicate Na2SiO3, or we can also call it as a water glass, plus the carbon dioxide, you will get Na2CO3 plus SiO2. This is what the colloidal, and this is a paste like structure. This is also known as the silica gel. The silica gel. So this silica gel is going to give the core the required strength. But one thing you should remember, that whatever the strength obtained by this silica gel to this core will not be there for a longer period of time. Only 2 to 3, maximum 3 hours will be the strength will be remained inside this core, which is given by this silica gel. You have to use that core within that time period. Otherwise, after 5 to 6 hours, this core will be once again the loose sand. So no any use. So please remember, the strength which is given to the core is basically from this colloidal SiO2 or silica gel, and you have to use it before 2 to 3 hours. Up to 5 to 6 hours, it will becomes a loose sand. So that is the thing for the core making. So generally, please remember that the cores are made with the dry sand with the CO2 molding. This molding technique is also known as the CO2 molding, or sodium silicate and CO2 molding. Please remember this. So this is the basic things about the core. Core are used in the casting to produce the hollow portions or hollow shapes into the casting. Now next point we are going to see in this, that is a core print or core prints. See, in the diagram I shown you here, see here, this is our core, okay, and this is our mold cavity. So within this mold cavity we have placed our core, but see here where the core is placed. So see here in the mold cavity itself, we can see here some recess, isn't it? This is the recess and this is the recess. So in the mold itself or mold cavity itself, we have provided some recess for the perfectly placing or sitting of the core. Okay, so this recess actually is known as the core print. Please remember, for sitting of this core into the mold cavity, some recess is provided within this mold cavity itself. This recess or the place for sitting of the core is known as the core print. Understood what is meant by core print? the recess. Now how to get this recess into the mold cavity? Of course, this impression we are getting here in the mold cavity, because of that impression we have already there onto the pattern. Okay, so the whatever the recess is provided here in the mold cavity, it is simply because of there are the projections or the extenses. There are the projections or extenses provided on pattern itself. Okay, so these are the core prints. How the core prints are get? Because we already provided the projections or the extenses are made during the pattern making itself. That's why their impression is get here into the mold cavity. Okay, now generally see, the core are made up of the dry sand. As you know, whenever we are doing the castings for the cast irons or the steel heavier elements, then the density of the core is lesser than the density of the molten material. But when we are dealing with the aluminum, copper, lead, tin, etc. as a molten material, the density of the core is greater than the density of the molten material. Now let us see what is the buoyancy force is going to act onto this core. Okay, so buoyancy force, or rather I can say the net buoyancy force which is acting on the core. So how we can calculate this net buoyancy force? That is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced minus weight of the core. This is the buoyancy force. See, this is a molten metal and which is giving the buoyancy force on this core, which can be calculated as weight of the molten material displaced or liquid displaced minus weight of the core. Now you know weight is what? Mass. See, mass into gravity. So mass of liquid displaced minus mass of the core. I will take G outside, isn't it? And what is mean by mass? Mass is nothing but volume into density. So we are having the same volume. So volume V, that is going to displaced into density of material, molten material, say rho m, minus volume of the core into, say D is the density of core into G. Now I can take this V volume outside into bracket the density of molten material minus the density of core into G times Newton. Okay, so this is the net buoyancy force which is acting on the core. Understood? V is the volume of how much liquid is going to displace, that is the volume of core. Yes or no? So volume of core, how to calculate volume of core? Suppose volume of core. Suppose basically what is shape of core? It is a cylindrical one. Yes or no? So if small d is the diameter of core, and h is the height or length of the core, then what is the volume of core? The V will be equal to pi by 4 times d square into h in say mm cube. So if you put the value of volume here, you know the density of molten material. If you know the density of the core and G is the gravity 9.81 meter per second square, you can get the net buoyancy force which is acting on this core. Understood? So many times in the GATE examination for production engineering or for mechanical engineering, this question is asked for 2 marks. Please remember this formula. That is a net buoyancy force acting on the core. Thank you.